Hello and welcome to this edition of Ritter's Rant. First of all, happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. This is the 249th anniversary of the birth of the United States of America. Um, Look, I know there's people out there watching this who hate America, who have problems with America. Many of them are Americans. Um, I'm sorry. I am unapologetic when it comes to the love of my country. And I will celebrate today, not because of what America necessarily has done, but because what America has the potential to be. We stand for something that could be great, um, and we have a lot of work to do to make it great. But the first thing that has to happen is that we have to learn to love our country for what it is, a nation defined by the Constitution, by the rule of laws, by the importance of individual liberties, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are some of the foundational values we have. That all men and women should be treated equal. That we, are one in the eyes of our Creator. That there is no class. There's no upper class, lower class. We're all the same. These are things that we should aspire to, even though we may not have yet reached them collectively. But it begins with people loving America, loving their nation, which now brings me to the topic at hand. We have two Americans, Josh Gottheimer, a Democrat from New Jersey, and Mike Lawler, a Republican from New York, who have put forward a bill. It's called a bipartisan bill because one's a Democrat, one's a Republican, that seeks to give the President of the United States the authority to transfer to the state of Israel B-2 bombers and GBU-57 bunker-busting bombs. These are the weapons combination that was used by the United States to strike Iran's nuclear infrastructure late last month. The B-2 bomber, let me just remind people, is one of the most highly classified weapons programs in the history of the United States. Even though it's been around for some time, the specific chemical composition of the radar absorbing material that coats the surface of this aircraft and the processes through which this material is attached to the airframe remain some of the most highly classified, highly sensitive information in the United States. And we have two ostensible representatives of the American people seeking to transfer this technology to a foreign entity, the state of Israel. Now, there'll be some people out there who'd say, well, wait a minute, isn't Israel our ally? Ostensibly. I mean, it is an ally, after all, that attacked the USS Liberty in June of 1967. That sort of raises some questions, but there's other things that come up. I mean, I have talked before about how the Israelis treated U.S. Marines in the 1980s when the Marines were sent to Beirut to help safeguard the PLO as they were being evacuated per peace agreement. The Israelis insulted a Marine officer, threatened Marines with physical violence. Is that the action of an ally? I remind people of Jonathan Pollard, the American intelligence analyst who stole the most sensitive secrets of the United States, the so-called crown jewels of the American intelligence community, a book that detailed every frequency that the United States monitored globally, how we monitored, what systems, including some very expensive satellite systems. It described the encryption that used in these different communications mechanisms, frequencies, and whether or not the success of the United States in breaking these codes. The data contained in this book cost the American taxpayers literally billions of dollars to assemble. And it allowed the United States to gain critical insights into the actions of its enemies, to predict what the enemy might be doing so that decision makers could make adequate decisions in response, to preempt potential war, potential conflict, to make America and the world we lived in safer. And Jonathan Pollard stole this and gave it to the Israelis. Now, why would the Israelis need this if they're our true friend and ally? Well, the answer is clear. They then sold it to the Soviet Union in exchange for favorable immigration status. Is this the action of a friend? Today, the world is abuzz about the J-10 fighter. China's, one of China's newest fighters proved itself in combat, flown by Pakistani pilots against India, shot down the French Rafale aircraft, and now could be arming the Iranian Air Force as we speak. Reports speak of up to 40 J-10 fighters being sent from China to Iran. The J-10, could it be that the J-10 is actually a derivative of the Israeli Lavi fighter, a fighter that was being produced jointly by the Israelis and the United States in the 1980s, making use of F-16 technology? The United States had said that it will provide Israel access to this technology so long as it's not shared with any foreign partner. But then why did a Lavi fighter end up parked on a Chinese airfield at the research facility of the Chinese aircraft company that today is building the J-10 fighter? Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The United States ostensibly could be facing Chinese military technology of an advanced nature that could put American lives at risk. And this technology was provided to China by our close friend and ally, Israel. And now we want to give them B-2 bombers. Do you think for a second Israel will respect any declaration we make regarding non-transferability of this technology? They have never respected it in this past, and they will never respect it in the future, because Israel doesn't exist to be the friend of the United States. Israel exists to promote Israel. Again, these are the people who spied on the White House. The Barack Obama presidency discovered dozens of listening sensors in the White House installed by Israeli agents, many of whom worked for the United States government, worked for the White House, installed in the periphery around the White House to monitor the communications and activities of the President of the United States. Does a friend do this? And the answer is no, not at all. And that's my rant. Why are we doing this? Why is America becoming subservient to a nation that doesn't have our best interests in mind? There's a reason why Donald Trump, as a candidate, as a president-elect, reposted Jeffrey Sachs' videos criticizing Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, noting that it was Israel that dragged the United States into endless conflicts in the Middle East that cost us trillions of dollars of treasure, thousands of lives, wars that weren't fought for the national security of the United States, but furthering the notion of a greater Israel. This is not what Americans should die for. And giving Israel the most advanced technology in the American military arsenal is not something the U.S. taxpayer should support. Happy 4th of July. And remember, it's about the birth of the American nation, the United States of America. It's not about furthering the interests of a foreign entity named Israel. This has been my rant. I'll talk to you next time an idea crosses my mind.